Brad with pneumatictire.us. I'm talking to Randy Layton, who historically founded Alternative Records. Randy, can you tell us a little bit of why you got involved in the scene in the first place and your history with it?
Sure. I started, yeah.
You got an hour.
Okay, well, I don't have that much time, but back in '79, I had the idea of actually importing and exporting Christian music worldwide, because at that point there wasn't that thing available. So Alternative originally was that template, and you know, so if you needed some rare Larry Norman or imported, you know, UK CCM, I was the guy. Eventually there was another guy named Larry Miller who did that as well. And then eventually one of my customers named Mike Delaney kind of took the ball and ran with it later. But you know, that's where it started. In terms of the label thing, I wound down the Miller part of it about '84, and then by '85 I was doing radio stuff for Exit Records in Sacramento, and worked actually promoting those albums, especially when they went to Island. And then at that point my job was to take albums to radio and promote them. When Exit kind of imploded in around '88, I took a couple of guys with me to make records. One of them was Steve Scott, who I was just enamored with, and the running joke about Lost Horizon was I really wanted that music on CD, so for myself. So I just wanted to, you know, make the album so I could have one, and then sell others to pay for that privilege of having a copy on CD. That's
right.
That's kind of how it started. Literally, I did not know when I started that how it was even going to get paid for until about 2 days before it showed up at the door. I made only 500 CDs initially because I thought, who's going to buy this guy on CD? You know, I packed the 4 more songs in the cassette. Well, wound up being a big hit on CD. Never did sell very many tapes. In the end, I think I sold about 7,000 copies of that. And just for reference, Beloved in the Western World had, you know, word distribution, sold 2. So we knew we were onto something, that if we could go more direct to people and kind of go outside of that system, maybe we could do something with it.
All the confines of the Christian bookstore.
Yeah. Mike came along, the band had, you know, from the 70s, the band had essentially split up, and he was depressed with nothing to do. And so I gave him money to go make some demos. That became the core of Miserable. Released that. So it just kind of became a home initially for people that we used to do with Exit. Robert Vaughn was another artist. Eventually included other people like Two Found Planet, which I thought was a great album.
Great.
Yeah, and that was a band from North Carolina.
We're still in touch with those guys once in a while with Life in General.
Yeah, same here. And I'm just really proud of the body of work, you know, that I produced during that time. I remember Charlie Peacock called me up and said, how do you do this? Because he wanted to do the same thing. That eventually gave him the idea to do West Coast Diaries. So it was kind of fun to start that. I mean, I really believe I was about the first person with that idea to really, you know, go independent and sell it yourself. You know, then Michael Knott actually wanted to sign my label, and I told him no. Then he went off and started Von Vinyl. I'm not sure why I told him no. But
Interesting. Interesting.
But I did. Nothing against him personally. I just didn't see it. I eventually wound down the label portion of it about '94, I think. Primarily because I got into a legal battle with Columbia over Robert Vaughn, and that just sucked the life out of me, and money. And at that point, I just stopped. But
and we haven't seen Robert hiding her hair of Robert Vaughn.
Yeah, he's lost most of his hair, incidentally. But I did reconnect with them over the last couple of years, and we've been in touch, and we've been working on some projects actually.
Really?
Yeah. Not musically so much, but we're going back over the archives, and we're going to do like a DVD compilation of things that he worked on over the years, and so that'll be fun. In the last few years, I did produce a couple of projects for the Sevens. You know, the Guilty Pleasures and Rosebuds were all my ideas and projects and song selection and all that. So I did that for him. I still write for as a freelance writer every so often, and I make contributions to people's liner notes and box sets on occasion.
Interesting.
So I kind of keep my hand in it that way.